Meus amigos, bem-vindo aqui no Global Capoeira, o canal da conscientização, o canal que fala assim, capoeira, um jogo e muitas vozes, várias vozes. Então, aqui no canal, todo mundo tem uma chance de compartilhar, de falar as alegrias, as dores, né, o que a gente precisa para a comunidade. E hoje eu estou super animado, estou sempre animado, porque eu sempre trago pessoas maravilhosas aqui, então meu coração está sempre alegre. Foquinha é uma pessoa extraordinária, ela é incrível. Ela dá aula de capoeira aqui em Oakland, na Califórnia, né? E é uma amiga minha que eu tenho muito carinho, muito amor, uma pessoa também que ela faz um trabalho incrível para a capoeira, com capoeira, né? Eu aprendo muito com ela. Aprendi muito com os eventos, a maneira que ela leva o grupo, ela dá aula junto com a professora Borracha, que está aqui também no canal, né, com a professora Bailarina, que eventualmente vai estar aqui com a gente também. E, cara, são uns eventos assim que não é só voltado para o grupo, né? É para a comunidade. Todo mundo que vai lá no evento da Foquinha sempre aprende alguma coisa a mais, sempre se sente bem. Né? Ela é uma pessoa incrível, maravilhosa. Eu sou muito grato por ter uma pessoa como ela na nossa comunidade. A gente precisa de pessoas como ela, né? Uma mente muito progressiva. Então, e hoje ela está aqui comigo, eu estou super feliz, muito, muito feliz. Uma amiga, assim, que tem um maior carinho por mim também. A gente, sabe, leva essa amizade aqui com muita frequência positiva. Eu vou mudar para inglês. Ela fala português, espanhol, vietnamita, chinês, taiwanês, ela fala tudo. Mas a gente vai falar em inglês, que é para ter um equilíbrio aqui no canal. Tá bom? Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today for the Global Capoeira, the channel of awareness. Happy today to be here with Foquinha, Professora Foquinha. She teaches here in Oakland, California. She's my friend. She's an amazing person. As a human being, she's amazing. As a capoeira teacher, she's amazing. She does great things for capoeira. Not necessarily to her group. She does, of course, she represents her group. But when she does things, she thinks about the community. She thinks about the capoeira as a whole, right? And we've been friends for a long time. And I'm always learning from her. And then when I go to her events, when she's preparing, organizing things for the event, she teaches here with Professora Borracha, who is here on the channel, and Professora Bailarina, who eventually will be here as well. And so I'm very happy today to have Foquinha here. She's part of the community we have. By the way, those who are in this country watching this conversation, it's not an interview, it's a conversation, back and forth. I have questions for her, she has questions for me. Bay Area, California, East Bay is the best capoeira hub in the country. So New Yorkers will be mad, LA people will be mad. It's okay. You know, if you're mad, it's because I'm right? It's a great place. We're very lucky here to have a great group of capoeira people from all over, right? And and we have, you know, this gift of Professora Foquinha here with us teaching capoeira, and it's really, really seriously. I have a lot of love for her. I know she loves me too, and I feel when I know Foquinha is around, I feel safe. You know, she's amazing. She's very grounded. She's smart. She's progressive, and then she's always takes care of the community. It's not about her, it's about the community. Right? Her class is amazing, her students are amazing. And so I'm gonna give the time now for her to introduce herself, and then we're gonna go back and forth, volta ao mundo, joga, sai, volta, joga. Foquinha! Go!
Oh, wow, Messi. One, I'm like trying not to cry. Because that was a really wonderful, beautiful introduction. And I also want to say that one, I'm super honored that you would ask me to be on your channel, partly because I think it's rare to have people looking to get the perceptions, get the voices of everybody. You know, not just the famous mestres and mestras who we all, learn a lot from. But I think it's really amazing that you're trying to get younger voices,
Oh, yes.
a mix of voices, and there's not a lot of people that are doing that. And so it is really amazing because you're also uplifting the community in a very tangible way. And, you know, with your voice, you have a lot of power and influence. And so it's really, yes, Messi. It's true. And you know, I also want to thank you. I have known you for a very long time, and you know, I'm not directly under you, but you treat me like one of your own. And so that I've always appreciated that and love that. And you know, it's an example of how you know, that teacher student relationship can be in so many forms. And I just want to appreciate you, and a lot of people probably don't know that you do that for many people in the Bay. You know, you provide that mentorship. So thank you.
Foquinha, awesome. She exaggerates when it comes to about me. I'm just a simple man. I think the idea with this platform, you know, the Global Capoeira, is to finally give voices to everybody. You know, I really actually not planning to have the mestrão here, because we need to find out what is new minds are thinking, what the students think, or even professores and professoras. You know, we need to hear from them, right? Because I hear, I mean, I'm passing the mark of 50 years in capoeira. It's going to be 51 years now, right? And I've seen so many abuses, so many abuse of power, using the word mastery to take advantage of people, right? I see a lot of disrespectful moments, you know, for that actually the students and the professors, especially foreigners and females, they are the end of the rope. They suffer the most abuse, the most disrespect, sometimes not even directly, but knowing that another female member next to them has been disrespected affects them. They think, okay, is that going to happen to me? I mean, this is not okay. This is just not okay. But you know, where to go to talk about these things? So when I on this long journey, you know, I'm not here. I don't know everything, but life for me is an everyday learning experience. I keep thinking, okay, I mean, are you when I have these events, all these masters gather around, and they talk about the students leaving, or the student did switch groups, but they talk in a way that they are flawless. They are gods. They never make a mistake, right? It's, oh, this student left me. Don't trust this student. It's like, wait. This is really crazy. If somebody left you, there's so many reasons. How about your behavior? How do you treat them? You know, or how about maybe you didn't do anything, but the person next to you as a capoeira teacher is abusing his power, and that person left. So, and you don't say anything, because it's almost like this network of friends. Capoeiristas, in general, they don't support each other, but when it comes to protect each other from being exposed to the public, when they abuse people, oh, everybody, no, don't say this, because you know you're going to say something bad about capoeira, or you know you're going to be in bad shape in a capoeira. I mean, for me, really, if I mention somebody's name here who is abusing people, does everybody here think that's going to affect my class? That people, oh, let's stop going to this guy's class because this guy talks about the truth or he exposed somebody? It's not going to change anything. You know what's going to bring people to my class is my behavior, is how I treat people, is how I show respect. You know, and that's what's going to bring people to my class. Saying something bad about somebody that is true, I'm not going to say, oh, I heard. No, I'm not going to say things that I heard. I'm going to say things that I know, that I suffer myself, that the person next to me suffered. somebody like Foquinha is going to share something. So, it's different from saying, oh, I heard. No, I didn't. I'm not going to talk about things like that. But I think when I decided to do this channel, is to offer a space for everybody to talk about the joys, the pains, what can be done to improve. But, it's not looking for the mestrons and say, oh, well, I think capoeira. No, it's not about capoeira history, how you think about capoeira. Capoeira is a product. Capoeira is this beautiful art form. It helps so many, many people. Capoeira helps people. What we have to do, our part, is not to have this attitude like, oh, I'm doing something to help capoeira. No. We need to help the community. We need to invest in our community, regardless of groups, of banners. Forget that. We need to really extend our hands to everybody who is capoeira. Now, Foquinha is amazing. She does. I think it was 3 years ago. She had one of her batizados here. There was a movement of the Me Too, and she was making people read something before you enter the space, to take class, make sure you behave, make sure you don't cross the line here, don't cross the line there. It's just one of those steps that nobody does, and it's necessary. And then you learn. So yeah, she's right. And some people, well, no, sign it here, read it. So the Global Capoeira, I'm not expect to change the mestrão, because people before my generation and from my generation didn't do anything about the character building. They invest in the physical. Somebody has a lot of athleticism, somebody's strong, fast, strong, and oh, this guy's good, this guy's good. They never care about preparing the person to have virtues, to have decency, to have respect for everybody. Nobody talk about that. That's why you keep having problems. So the logic here, Foquinha, if people before me, not everybody, the majority, before me and from my time, had spent time preparing the youth with character building, decency, morals, respect to everybody, we by now, we would be having less problems like that. People stealing, people doing sexual, being aggressive. A lot of things could be much, much, much less, right? So that's why I talked to some people. Albatroz, my brother from childhood, before capoeira, he has seen all these abuses. And Gugu Quilombola has talked to me recently, since last September. We've been talking every week. Something needs to be done, because I see these mestrões talk about ways to live off the art, how to be a professional, and for me, nothing works if you don't have character. If you don't have respect to anybody, if you come to a roda, women are invisible. We go to batizado, you don't even talk to the students. All you do is it's like a magnet. Go around the other masters and they talk all day, and nobody really interacts with the students. And so I'm not against groups. I belong to a group. But I think the groups have an amazing opportunity because they have so much reach, right? So if you think about Cordão de Ouro, Senzala, Capoeira Brasil, all the 3 branches, Abadá and Candeia, they have a huge reach. So they have an opportunity to be teaching people values, respect. Everybody's capoeira. Let's stop about judging, comparing, and we go to rodas, ignore women and disrespect women or minorities, or just stop all that. Just share. Let's work together to make every event is my event. I go to any, that. She knows that. I pay for every single event. My wife pays for everything. I never play the messy card. Never. Everybody needs help. We are here in the same necessity. We're not fighting for students. We're fighting for a situation where we feel comfortable. We belong to a bigger class. Not only my group or X group or Y group. We're all capoeira. So it became my mission. I'm writing a book now about things like that I have seen, because I think sometime at a certain point somebody has to do something, and I'm here to take this big risk because I know I'm making people mad. But again, the other day, remember, Foquinha, I put a thing on Instagram. There's a bakery here in Berkeley Third Culture. I think it's called Third Culture.
I saw your post.
Yeah, and one of the co-founders, he puts this postcard. Let's say you go there, you order some cakes or some cookies, and inside the bag, he puts a postcard, and it says something like, "Don't be afraid to tell the truth, even if your voice is shaking," or something like that.
Yeah.
So here I am, I'm going to say things that some people may not like it because nobody says anything. There's always like this protection. We call in Brazil pano quente. Oh, no, 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 don't say anything. Oh, no, 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 don't say anything. No, 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 no. Enough is enough, right? So, Foquinha, going back to you, give us a little background of your beginnings.
So the first time I saw capoeira was when I was still in college, and Meshi Hamus and now Meshi Caxias, he was a professor then, came down to Durham, North Carolina, where I was in school, and they did a capoeira workshop.
Wow.
And I was doing dance at the time, and the first time I saw it, I was just like, oh my God. What is happening? Like, just looking at somebody upside down and seeing the control that they had. And it was just gorgeous. And Meshi Hamos ended up staying in Durham for a month and just teaching capoeira class. And so that was like my first introduction into capoeira. And I remember the first like song I heard was like Meshi Accordion's like Pediu Ashe, like Vamos Pediu Ashe.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I just remember that song. And so and it's so funny now living here, and Meshi Accordion was like such a big influence in the East Bay. And so I didn't live anywhere that had capoeira for a couple of years. I moved to Taiwan for a while. And then I decided to move to New York City, and I found the first capoeira group. I like knew that I wanted to train capoeira, and I found the first possible capoeira group that was like closest to my house. It was in Brooklyn, and it was Contramesa Joe was teaching.
When was it?
This was in 2003.
All right. Awesome.
And we were teaching, and she was teaching in this little gym in Brooklyn. And I remember the first person that like I met in class was Esquilu, was Molly, who she doesn't train that much anymore. But then I remember like Joy coming in with like, she was red and blue and she looked like super cool. She had on this like little jean skirt, I remember her. And she just looked so cool. And
cool.
Yeah.
No, it's cool.
Everyone would just look so cool. And I was like, oh man. And you see them, then you see them move and you're just like, they were all red and blue at the time and like doing macaco and like all these things. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And Joe was really, Mestre Joe, who's now Mestra, she was very supportive. Like she kind of saw that I was really into it and she started pushing me. She like was just like, train on your own, do this, do that, do this. And I really appreciate that because she like really fostered my curiosity. She was made extra time to teach me things because she saw that I was really interested. Awesome. And I haven't stopped since then. And now the group has gone through some changes, and now I'm directly under Joy, Formanda Joy. And what I really appreciate about and I didn't live in New York for very long. I lived there for 3 years and then I left, but I stayed under I still consider her my teacher, and there was this really nice sense of freedom that was given to travel, to train, to learn from different teachers, and I really appreciate that freedom that like she didn't even like Messa Joe and like Joy and Tuzinho, who we were also under, like there wasn't this sense of like you need to train here and learn here only, right? It was like go to Brazil, learn, like follow your curiosity, and with Capoeira Brazil, even in Capoeira Brazil, there's so many resources, like all the different messes that you can learn from. I feel really lucky. And then coming to the Bay was a really big, I mean, Capoeira is really the reason I came to the Bay, honestly. Like what you say about this being the Mecca of Capoeira in the United States, like I had lived for a little while in North Carolina after New York, and there was, one Capoeira group there. It was, I spent a lot of time training on my own, and and at first when I moved down there, I was like, oh, it's okay if Capoeira is not really big in my life. Like, I can handle it. And then after I decided to move from there, I was like, I got to find Capoeira. I have to be in a place that has Capoeira. And I remember coming to Oakland and I was just like, there's so much Capoeira here. There's so much. There's, Mesh Accordion schools in Berkeley. Mandingo was in, Piedmont. Makaha was teaching here at the time.
Right.
There was just a ton of people in the East Bay alone. Yeah. And I was like, I have to move here. This is where, I'm going to be. And at the time there was no Capoeira Brazil. So like politically, I knew that eventually I wanted to start teaching. I was still, graduado at the time, but I was like, I know I want to start teaching and it won't be a problem, like I've seen problems before where there's like, two teachers of the same group and there's fighting. So I knew that it would be possible if I wanted to start teaching to have, blessings from Joy and from Mestre Boneco. So yeah, and I'm so glad that I'm here. I think at first I was really scared about teaching because there's so much, but I have to. I remember something that Mestre Umbrinho said. I went to a event, and I knew him from New York, and I was just talking to him about like, oh wow, there's like, I don't know if it's saturated. There's like so much capoeira. And he was like, don't say that, because you can think of it like yoga. There's a yoga studio on every corner and they all do really well. So, you can't, this scarcity mindset, he was just, no, don't think like that. You can be successful here. Mm-hmm. And so, that really stuck with me.
Awesome.
And then, of course, meeting you and being part of the community with everybody together, I'm really appreciative.
Yeah. But when you saw Messi Ramos and Caxias demonstration, what year was that?
That was 2003.
2003. That's when you started, because you start capoeira when it grabs you.
Yeah.
It's not actually going to class and no. That moment is like.
Yeah. Oh no, that was 2001. Sorry, that was 2001.
2001. Exactly. So it's been
20 years.
20 years, a little more, yeah. But interesting when you said about Mestre Umbrinho, it's like for example, in Rio, downtown Rio, I'm gonna mention one street, Rua da Carioca. Rua da Carioca has a lot of shoe stores, like shoes. It all depends on how you're going to treat your client. It's one store next to the other, shoes. That's what I used to buy my hyenas, right? But here on College Avenue, right on that corner there on the Safeway, there's Phil's Coffee, there's Cole's Coffee, there's a Starbucks and Pete's Coffee.
Yeah.
In one block, there's room for everybody. It has to do how you treat people. Mm-hmm. That's, for me, that's a secret. And that's why it becomes an issue when people talk about, complain about, oh, this guy's teaching next to me. It's like, I talked to Fabio Gurgel about it on his podcast. He mentioned that if there's good quality teachers next to you, it's awesome. So your class is a good competition to everybody else, right? And then Sabia's class has a high quality class. So everybody grows. Mm-hmm. So the image that passes to the general pop is like, wow, I can't wait to enjoy a capoeira class because this person here, I saw this class one day. Wow, there's this lady here, Foquinha. Wow, there is Shipa here on a Shea Oakland. Wow, capoeira is a really good thing because
Mhm.
we have so many high quality teachers that is good for everybody. You
Yes.
know, and Fábio Gugel mentions that when the tide goes up, all the boats go up.
Mm-mm-mm.
So
Yeah.
what can be bad for us as capoeira teachers is when somebody's doing something bad. You know, somebody's mistreating people, yelling, or whatever. Then people, oh man, I don't know, I don't want to deal with capoeira. I went to this class, I felt uncomfortable. This guy was all over me, blah, blah, blah. I saw him yelling at another person. So that kind of behavior can damage everybody else. But
Yeah.
if you have a good character, you have a good set of principles, you have a basic understanding of how to do an exercise to warm up, and then of course you have 20 years of capoeira, or even 10 years of capoeira, you can teach it. That's awesome. So, Foquinha, here we go. Let me start with one question.
Okay.
Some difficulties for you teaching the art. What was the something you had a moment like, oh, I don't know, I think I'm gonna quit. Did you have any moments like that, and why?
Um, Nothing that I wanted to quit, but I think what was hard for me was starting to teach here and starting to have hadas, because the level here was so high. There's like contramesses and messes and a million professores. And when I started, I was like a blue cord in Capoeira Brazil, so that's like you're graduado, but like you're not quite instructor. And um I was just like, yeah, let's just have hadas, let's do it. And for me, it took me a long time to feel comfortable saying that, like, these are my rules, because things would happen in the hada, and I was just like, I don't know what to do with this, if like two people are fighting or there's like something intense happening. It took me it was it you know I had to It took me a while to like grow into my own abadas a little bit, or like grow into my chord, and be like, no, this is what I want from capoeira. Like, what you want from capoeira is totally fine, that's your choice. But if you come inside my house, these are
Exactly.
these are my rules. And I remember, like, certain times in certain hadas just being like, oh, oh my gosh, how do I handle this?
Uh-huh.
um and it was a really big learning curve, and I wouldn't have learned it unless I started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
um but there's, and when I feel like I had conversations with you too about it, where there's like, you would see something that I wouldn't see. Like, there's so much vision that you have to have when you're having events, because there's so many people and so
Mm-hmm.
many interactions that are happening, that, like, if it's your space, you're kind of in charge, you're kind of responsible for what happens.
Yeah.
And so, like, stepping into that responsibility and really owning that responsibility was a very big challenge for me.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Guys, I forgot to mention this. It's because of the pandemic. We know we've been out of rodas for 14 months, like general rodas. But guys, Foquinha. Foquinha has his roda, right? And once a month. And it's the best roda in the Bay Area because everybody comes. Sometimes I go there, I look around and say, man, today here we have people from like 15 groups, 12 groups, 10 is average. 10 is average, but everybody's there. All the groups in the Bay Area, all the teachers, and it is challenging. In the beginning, I was like, I mean, I do whatever I can to be there as often as I can
Yeah.
to help her, not to take over because it's not my thing. To like, oh, I don't know, but respect her space, but making sure people come and they follow the house rules. Maybe by me being behind the scenes, say, hey guys, It's her roda, it's her house. She's gonna sing right now, whatever. Learn how to play this game. Blah blah blah. It's very tricky, very delicate, with so many capoeiristas from different groups, different behaviors. Very, very challenging, but she never gave up and became like one of the main rodas of the Bay Area. People looking for that moment to go there, and it's just fun. She does a general warm up with everybody, and then breaks into 5, 6, 7 rodas, and people play forever. Then we have the main roda. Energy is super high. It's hard to leave. We have to leave because of the neighbors, but it's just like its energy is so good that nobody wants to leave. But I remember the beginning. She's very inspiring. When I see that, I say, man, this person does amazing things for capoeira. For the community, people feel comfortable. People come from all over knowing like I'm gonna have fun today. I'm not gonna get there to fight or whatever. I'm gonna have fun because it's Foquinha's roda. Right? It's amazing, really amazing person. I forgot to mention that. Okay, my love, it's your turn.
Okay. So I'm curious, from a lot of my questions have to do from like when you started capoeira to, you have all this experience and time in it. So a lot of my questions have to do with like how things have changed for you. Like what inspired you to play capoeira in the beginning, and how has that changed? Like, because you still train, you still, I see you train a lot on your own, you still play a lot, you go to rodas a lot still now. So how has that evolved?
Volta ao mundo, volta ao mundo, volta. Well, in the beginning, of course, I think all of us start for some reason. You love the culture, the African diaspora, or the music, or the movements, and there's always something that grabs you in the beginning. And I think over time, of course, when you start understanding how deep capoeira is, and then over the years your perception changes, or the reasons you're still doing it changes, right? But for me, it was more like in the beginning. There's a little plaza in Rio, my neighborhood, called the Praça do Russell. Is on, we face the Flamengo beach, and it's Gloria Flamengo. You see the church on top of the hill. And on that plaza, every night, not once a week or once a month, every night, there's a capoeira roda. But it's not a capoeira roda like we imagine now, right? We see now. It's just 6, 7 people, one berimbau, dark, because there's a plaza that at night is just dark, and people just like, let's play this thing, So it was more like almost like playing a little soccer game or a scrimmage. You jump in and you don't know what's going on, and people slapping you, people throw a martelo on your face, people throw you on the floor, and you just go back. It's like an organized street fight. Yeah? It's an organized street fight. Afterwards, everything's cool, but you go home with some bumps, and and then you start seeing more things. From that, I jumped to a capoeira roda in Praia do Flamengo on Sundays. Then that was a big roda. Messi Hulk was there, many people like that, and I was like, then I started seeing something different. More instruments and the singing, because on this little plaza with 6, 7 people, we play for an hour and a half. We just exchanging kicks. It's Paranauê the whole time. Paranauê, 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 and it's a whole hour Paranauê, right? Iega cantou. I don't know that Iega cantou is crazy, because o cara, you sing Paranauê, and then the Iega cantou for half an hour. Iega cantou, Iega. It's like we have no clue. We just want to, exchange kicks and galopante. Praia do Flamengo was a different story. It was actually a capoeira roda. Berimbaus, atabaque, pandeiros, and then you start seeing the games, right? And then you start understanding, okay, this is a art form, it's a fighting system, something that you go there and you have to learn how to defend yourself and to attack and become, and very quick, we knew that when you jump in a roda, very quick, it could become a fight, right? That was it. And then you go to a capoeira school to start learning more, but you still don't understand much about the art. And it's so rich with the history, the cultural aspect, everything. You just know, okay, it's a berimbau, you go in the center, Paranauê, and we just fight, right, or play. There was a mestre in Água Santa, Mestre Vieira. I used to go there on Saturdays with this mestre, Kinsey, and he, of course, he was very, very sharp. So he, this is a story for Foquinha. He take to this big room where they taught capoeira. Started as a very small class, and he puts in front of a chair. Okay, ginga, benção. So ginga, 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 benção, ginga, ginga. Man, and he's on a heavy bag by himself. Ginga, ginga, pá, martelo. Ginga, ginga, pá, so I can hear, tac, tac. And I look over, he's doing his martelo, so I stopped and said, wow, that's so cool, that martelo on the bag, right? And he goes, hey, keep training. It's like, oh, shoot. Ginga, benção, ginga, benção. My God, Foquinha, forever. Then he says, okay, he made a circle, right? A circle in his room for us to play. And I had no idea what's going on. And of course, I knew that, I saw games, I used to play on the street. But all he did was martelo on me. Ginga, pá, ginga, pá. There's no like esquiva, ginga, pá, pá. So I go home with all these lumps, man. I was like, man, what? So that was his way of teaching. And I was like, okay, sure, this is stuff, right? Then I go to school and I started learning more things about the art. It was like the complexity, the subtleties, the history behind it. And I was like, wow, this is fascinating. This is fascinating. Then it's Group Senzala, with Mestre Camisa. But then over the years, there were some moments where I felt like people are focusing, the teachers, they are focusing on themselves and keep me away from loving the art, right? They want me to love them. And I don't know if I like their ideology. I don't know if I like their principles. So at the early stage of my life, I'm starting having doubts about, okay, what is this? This art is bigger than all of us, And but in this school, this person is teaching me to follow this ideology. It's almost like a cult. And I was like, it didn't sit right with me, to start judging people. And all of a sudden, they're judging everybody, And all of a sudden, because they're judging everybody, they felt better. They felt like we're better than everybody else. With that mindset, we had this pressure to go to rodas and beat up everybody because this guy told us everybody else suck. We are the best. So when you go to rodas, you have to beat up everybody to prove that we are the best. And I was like, and that didn't sit well with me. I mean, fighting, if there's need to, I will fight. I grew up fighting, got beat up all the time. I can have another podcast just to talk about my fights, how much I run. I could be an Olympic guy because I ran so much for people beating me up, like, But then I feel like, God, I love this art. This art has so much to offer. The art is beautiful. Something touches me. There's so much emotion. The songs, the body moving, discovering things about yourself. You get scared, you get nervous, you get happy, you cry out of happiness, you cry out of sadness, right? You have all these internal things. But this guy's telling me, no. Everybody else outside our school, they're bad people, they're bad capoeira. And I was like, so I started getting very annoyed with that. And then came to a point where I found myself cornered with the impossible decision. So I'm going to quit capoeira. It's too much to my head. It's too much. And then I realized, it's like I said on the post on Instagram. I said, and I always talk about this. If you believe in God, for example, you believe in God, but if the priest is disrespectful to you, you can't stop believing God. Just change priest, change church. As simple as that. But I'm not going to stop, believing in God because of a bad priest. I'm not going to stop my love for capoeira, my fascination for the art and everything that has offered to me, including friends like you and Borracha and Chitra and me. My life is all about capoeira. I can't quit that because one person is either mistreating me or leading me to a toxic cycle of judging other people. And I never believed in that. So it came the critical person, no, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to change the church. I'm going to go to another priest. And that became a pattern for me when I go to another group. And I noticed, like, after a while, people mistreating others, not necessarily me, Foquinha. All these groups I went through, people treat me very, very well for the most part. Some members didn't, but I still, like, nobody's perfect. But when I saw them over abusing people because of the power, the title, that annoyed me. I said, no, I don't want that to my students, or I don't want that to that person right there. Because for me, Foquinha, the membership in capoeira is important for me, no matter where you are. You know, one of the pushes for me to do the Global Capoeira is from Fabio Gorgel, a person who I admire a lot. He's a good mentor to me, right? He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, an icon. He's the founder of Capoeira, of Alliance Jiu-Jitsu. But he tells on his podcast, which is amazing, it's like free mentorship. He felt like in the 90s, the jiu-jitsu teachers were not showing the general population all the benefits of the art. You know, they only had a very limited way of teaching, and they didn't care about new people come to jiu-jitsu. And when new people came, sometimes they last 1 week and they quit. And Fabio thought, man, jiu-jitsu is so amazing. It's a great art form, but we have to change the mindset because people are quitting jiu-jitsu. Parents don't want the kids to do jiu-jitsu because everybody's scared. He says jiu-jitsu for everybody. And he started in this campaign, this mission to change the mindset, to teach people how to behave properly, right? And so when people quit capoeira in Amsterdam or France, or affects me, because I feel like, man, why did this person quit capoeira? Such an amazing art form. And most of the time it's because somebody was disrespectful. Somebody who's only thinking about themselves. They don't think about, we are the carriers. You know, when I hear people talk about capoeira is the art of transformation, I mean, that same comes from yoga. I believe that anything can be a vehicle for transformation or an art for transformation. Can be yoga, can be judo, can be jiu-jitsu, can be capoeira. It depends the carrier. You are an amazing capoeira teacher. So you becomes the messenger. You become that person who, debriefs. Okay, guys. And then people are, oh my God, capoeira changed my life. Well, it changed because you had a good mentor. If you don't have a good mentor, capoeira can actually change your life in a negative way. You get traumatized, say, forget about it. I don't want to do the capoeira. I only see people there who are disrespectful or violent or a lot of macho and blah, so, you know what I'm saying? It depends. So what kept me going, Foquinha, all these years is my commitment is with the art, right? So because I dedicate myself to the art, not a single teacher or master, I really don't play for anybody. So I started detaching myself from these obligations that I see some people still carrying that. It becomes a pressure, right? I remember it's been 5 or 6 years, or Mestre Mindinho mentioned something about, yeah, you have to make an agreement when you go to the berimbau, you make an agreement with the other person. And I thought about it, I said, not for me. My agreement is with me and capoeira. Because I don't play for Chitra, I don't play for Pavão, I don't play for Foquinha. I play for me and capoeira. I don't care who's watching me. In my time, Foquinha, I remember when I was with Senzala, Mestre Camisa, I never played for myself. I played for him. So I'm under tension. I'm playing like this. I hope you like my game. I hope you like my game. But it's not only me. It's 100 people playing like that. So it's like this. Everybody's like trying to please him. So nobody felt capoeira. They lied to themselves. I lied to myself. I wasn't
Mm.
feeling capoeira. I was playing for him, to please him, my master. So I never really played for myself. I never enjoyed my games. I was playing, I was in denial. I was playing to please somebody else. So then I come to conclusion, no. It's like when I pray, it doesn't matter how I pray. I can lay down my bed and pray. Why do I have to go on my knees like everybody else? So it's like, oh, I'll make sure the priest is watching me because I'm on my knees praying. No, it's me, my consciousness, and my faith to God. I don't play for everybody. I don't pray and play to anybody. It's me and my connection to God. It's me and my connection to Capoeira. So then I start doing what, Foquinha? It's maintenance. I train a lot because I want to keep the connection with the art is strong, right? Same as I pray. I meditate every day. I pray because I want to keep that connection with some form of spirituality. And that, when I detached myself, again, from these obligations to please somebody, well, I don't pay for my son, I don't play for Chita, I don't play for anybody. But I see in a lot of schools, especially schools I went through, people say, hey, Taborá, you have to play more. The master is watching you. You have to play because he likes when you play. So, no, I can't play for the master. I cannot play for my girl. I cannot. It's something so personal. So I don't care if people think I'm playing well or not playing well. It doesn't matter how people see my game. It doesn't really matter for Foquinha. What matters is how I feel. I all use this analogy of somebody goes to the church with a Bible this big, and you go to the church with a Bible this big, and the pages are falling apart. The faith is the same. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to be intimidated. It's like, oh, I'm going to hide my Bible here because look at this person next to me, a big Bible, a leather cover, written in gold. It's just for show. What matters inside is the faith. So over the years, when I realized capoeira is an amazing thing, we can't even describe what capoeira is, right? I realized, you know what? We belong to this art form. The art form grabbed Foquinha, grabbed Borracha, grabbed me, grabbed Chitra. Some way or another, these people are doing capoeira for 20 years, for 30, for 40. It's capoeira that matters. Of course, we need to have a good mentor, but not a dictator, not somebody going to tell, no, Foquinha, don't go there. Don't take this guy, this person. Don't train this way. It's like, it's you and capoeira. If the mentor is not good to you, is affecting your well-being, change churches. So what kept me going was my detachment with the obligation to please others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. My turn. Foquinha, can you tell me one moment or some moments that you felt like this is not okay? This is very disrespectful. Many times. I hope not.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think that the piece around teachers having relationships with students, I think that I've seen a lot of examples where a teacher had a relationship with a student and it didn't go well, and this it's usually the student that suffers, or it's also the community that suffers, because then there is some type of there's tension, there is not clear communication about what's happening, and I've seen many iterations of in different groups, and I think that was something like when I think about, like, okay, how do I want to run my group? There is a piece where you know, I as a teacher, I would not want to date a student, or you know, I don't think that that is professional.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's something that's really clear for me in terms of you know, running a school. And then I've, you know, there's also been instances where you know that someone is married and you see them have a relationship outside of their marriage, and you're also like, okay, that puts the community in a very uncomfortable position of having to either choose to tell the spouse, or you know, to keep it quiet and then be complicit
Mhm.
in this, you know, this type of betrayal. And you know, this is not only in capoeira, right? These are things that happen in all tight-knit communities where you spend a lot of time together,
Mhm.
and you train together and you travel together, and you know, all of these pieces of human interaction happen. You know, it's very human. And also there are things that you know, I also have been complicit in terms of like, maybe I didn't tell the spouse that something was happening, because it's really awkward.
Yeah.
It's a very awkward position to be in.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, it's an example of everybody knows, but no one says anything. And oftentimes it's people who have the power in the group,
Mhm.
that it's the teacher, you know, it's the mesri. And so you feel there is also that power dynamic creating silence. Um, and I, you know, I see it less now. I don't, uh, it's not something that I see as much, but also, you know, I don't travel as much anymore. I'm a little bit more like in the Bay Area. So I'm sure it still happens, but you know, that type of behavior, I do think is less because of the whole Me Too movement, and you know, other certain uh,
Mhm.
situations that have people have been dealing with and have been talking about. um and I think, and I do have to, you know, you mentioned earlier about, you know, us having an event and having people sign the code of conduct beforehand.
Right.
That was something that we, you know, Bohasha and Baila and I kind of took cues from the community. There was
Mhm.
a lot of work being done in the Bay Area itself, because there was, you know, so much happening, that schools were really looking at what was happening. And you know,
Right.
like, you know, people were having sexual harassment trainings, and you know, people like UCA, we looked at UCA's code of conduct. Colibri had a code of conduct in Chicago. You know, we looked at all of
Mhm.
these examples. So there is a lot of work being done. So I think part of that is why maybe that behavior is less, but it, you know, it's human and it still goes on. And
Yeah.
um, it's uh, it's important for us to be like, that's not okay.
Right. Exactly.
um,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing is exactly how we talked in the beginning, and the goal here is like, I may not. So if I think very in a selfish way, it's like, oh, it's not my problem. No, it is my problem. Number one, it's not okay. Number two, it does affect the community, so it's not okay. Number three, affects the membership of the art form. It's not okay. So we need to be very vigilant, you know, and find ways. Like you said, sometimes it's awkward, but we have to find ways to. I'm not going to say fixing the problem, because it's not. It's very complex sometimes, but at least to say, you know what, this is not okay. I think for Kenya, it happens more with capoeira. It is part of the societies all over. Why? Let's say jiu-jitsu. I teach jiu-jitsu, and people interact, men and women, and we're there 3 times a week or 4 times a week for an hour and a half. You train together, but then you go home. We don't have batizados. We don't travel. There's no. And the other thing is, it's almost like a place where you deal with maybe one or two emotions. you get excited because you're training, or you get scared when you're going to roll with somebody who's like, oh, this person is a black belt. Oh my God. So capoeira, it is different. You finish class and then there's the roda and the hugs and the games and then the traveling and then go out here and go out there and the singing. And so you deal with so many emotions, especially in a capoeira roda. You go through sadness to happiness to, oh my God, the girl is so beautiful. She plays so well. Maybe you are needy of something at a certain time and you feel like, she's the answer. Here's the answer for me at this moment. It's like capoeira takes you to this roller coaster of emotions. So in some moments you are vulnerable. The other person is also vulnerable. So we need to be, I think as leaders, people need to be very vigilant and have a very strong set of principles to say, this is not okay, or behave yourselves, or whatever it is that you feel like you have to say. But I think we have to say these things. I think your code of conduct that Batizado Day, I remember coming because I came from somewhere and Chita was outside and she handed me, no, Borracha gave to me. Mm-hmm. And Chita came and said, make sure you sign it. Chita was like, of course I'm going to sign it. But, it's just important to have those things. Sometimes you feel like, I'm going to take a step here that people may feel like this guy is crazy, this girl is crazy. Hey, it is what it is. It is what we believe is right for everybody. It's not about me. It's not about that person. It's about all of us. We need to, to feel safe. How about the little girl who's in capoeira? She just started. Oh my God, she's going to train with that guy right there. Man, I heard this. It's just not okay. The other day, it's been a while now, maybe 6-7 years. Mestre Mindinho was ever batizado in San Diego, and he was bringing this person from Brazil. And my friend in Calgary, Winnipeg, my longtime friend, he says, Itaborá, I saw this batizado that you're going to be part of. The Mestre Mindinho is bringing this person. I don't know if you know this, but he went to an event in the south of Brazil and he attacked a woman there. Not only, he attacked the person's wife, the person hosting him. So can you imagine bring somebody to your house and this person attacks your woman, your wife or your husband, your significant other. And so it was a big drama because, the master brings him to his house, he goes shopping, and the wife is cooking, the guy goes there and, you have to call the police, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, great. I call Mestre Mindinho right away. I said, look, it's your event. You do whatever you want. But I need to share this with you because this guy's coming. Number one, should not come. But again, it's your event. But if you bring him because it's so important to you, even if I tell you all this, put him in a hotel by himself, put him in a hotel where he's going to be bothering anybody and keep a tight eye on him. Be vigilant. Don't send any girl to pick him up for food or class. Make sure you go yourself to pick him up. It's going to cause you more stress because you need to put surveillance, unit on this guy. So is it worth it? But I left like that, and he was like, I'm thankful. He was like, oh, thank you so much. I'm going to cancel. And he canceled. Mm-hmm. Like, awesome. Great. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I think we have to do our part, mm-hmm. So thanks for sharing all that with you. It's just like, I'm curious because I know you have seen a lot. You've been part of committees here to bring this awareness to the community, and I was participating in some discussions, not with you and the other side, but people might say, oh, Itaborá, what do you think about that? I says, it's what's going on is not right. You guys are crossing the line. And I remember signing a letter, and I think I was the only Brazilian who signed a letter, and I was the only Brazilian and the only Brazilian teacher. And I know people got mad, but it's like, what? Speak the truth, even if your voice is shaking. It is what it is. What's wrong is wrong. What's right. I'm not the guy who does everything right. No, I make mistakes every day. I have offended you. I have made mistakes with you. Everybody. But the difference, I think, for me compared to these guys, I work to make up, to like self-assessment. I remember the day I got mad at you. I was like, oh my God, what did I do, Tabora? You're so stupid. I bought flowers for you. I went to Whole Foods. Oh my God, peace offering, because it's not right. I have to control myself. I have to control my impulses. But I know that I'm not here to preach, morals and, oh, this is the right way. No, there is a right way. I'm trying to every day to be a better person. I think it's everybody's goals in life is to become a better person, not only a better capoeira teacher, a better husband, a better wife, a better work colleague. That's what we need. We need the kind of balance. I do believe we are here to contribute to the well-being of the other person in some way or another. It can be making cookies, making wonderful food like you do, helping people with nutrition like you do, or teaching capoeira or music, whatever it is that you have in your hands. Do something. Make somebody say good morning to somebody. Open the door to somebody. Something has to be done to make, for maybe 30 seconds, make that person feel good. So, oh, thank you. Oh, great. I reached my goal.
Well, and I think also that, something that I appreciate about the capoeira community, and, you bringing up, like, we had a fight and we made up, and like, you have to make mistakes also to be able to grow and to reflect and to understand, wow, what I did that had this impact on you. Okay, how can I be different? How can I be better? And I think that, that I've seen a lot of forgiveness in the capoeira community too. And I think that also it's important for us to allow people to grow as well. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's part of the process. If you really are humble, understanding like I'm going to make a mistake, and I hope people forgive me, and I hope they tell me something, right? So I can learn. I mean, Cheetah is on my case. It's Cheetah is regional, man. She doesn't give me a break. I have over these years, it's 20 years together. I think I have grown as a human being because he doesn't let anything pass. Hey, Tabora, boom. Not about, well, yeah, things with her personally, but like if I say something to you, so hey, you said something to Foquinha, that's not right. Or anybody. She's always trying to make me a better person. And I think that's very important. And of course, but I surprise her with my approach to forgiveness. I forgive a lot of people. People all I thought, why are you hugging this guy right now? And yesterday we're crying because he hurt your feelings. I have to forgive. I have to give chances. People make mistakes. They're habits. Sometimes you learn a bad habit. I remember the other day, years ago, I did an event in Santa Cruz, and I had a Brazilian student. And you know how it is. People come to the door, they don't want to pay. It's just a big problem. And I think I have helped here in the Bay Area a lot of teachers by saying, guys, you want to help capoeira, help that person when you pay for the event. But anyways, this Brazilian guy, he said, Tabora, let me be at the door because I'm going to charge everybody. Okay, I like that. He stayed at the door, and Foquinha, this guy charged everybody, including my own son. Because he didn't know my son. Hey, $10. He's like, oh, Bira is very sweet. Bira is like, oh, but my father's there. Said, no, it's $10. Like, oh so Bira, not being an aggressive kid, thank God, he asked somebody, say, hey, can you call my dad? So hey, Bira is calling the front door. So, hey, why? So I went to the front door. I said, hey, Pop, can I come in? I said, of course you can come in. It's my event. So, this guy was like, and I felt like, wow, that's good. But listen to this. 3 months later, we go to Mestre Beissolas, batizado em Palo Alto, and he says, Mestre, can I come with you so I don't have to pay? I'm like,
Uh-huh.
that's not right.
Uh-huh.
And they said, no, you're going to pay to, you have to support the event. So anyways, 6 months later, we went, I think it was Força Macarrão, Professor Macarrão's batizado em, I don't know if it's Alameda, East Oakland, someplace like that. The recruiter had a cast on his knee. Mestre Gelon was there. So I go to the event. I paid, of course, and then I hear this thing at the front door, Foquinha. I can see a little commotion. And I look over, same guy. He's like, hey, Taborá, help me out. Tell him I'm your graduado. I said, that's embarrassing. What I realized, he's not a bad person. It's just bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say something about somebody here, it's just habits. I believe everybody has a potential to change the mindset and to do something better for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Foquinha, your turn.
Okay. So something I really appreciate is your dedication to your health and your body. I'm curious about, as you've gotten older, what has changed in terms of like how you take care of yourself?
I'm sick.
But you're still healthy. There is something, sometimes you cannot help what happens from nature,
Yeah.
but you absolutely have control over how you treat your body. And I see you as someone who's been very disciplined about how you treat yourself. And I think we all have a potential to learn from how disciplined you are.
So you want to see how, like, my routine or how I approach this whole thing?
I think more like, what have you found has been something that has been helpful for you to stay in your body, to stay able to move? Maybe it's more mindset for you.
Yeah. Okay, a good question. I feel emotional right now, but it's how can I explain this? I live. I have my shirt here. I live in a state of gratitude. I think for some people may sound abstract. Why this state of gratitude has to do with your health, right? Or my ability to keep training and do this maintenance. I feel when you have this mindset of being grateful to every single thing, like I'm sitting right now, it's like, man, I have a house, I'm sitting here, I'm protected. This is a nice table. I have a computer. Every single thing counts for me. I feel like I never feel like I have ownership of something that's going to make me feel like, oh, I don't need to learn how to do a push-up because I'm doing this forever. Or I don't need to train with somebody because I know how to do a martelo. I don't have that approach. I have an approach of like, I want to learn. I'm always learning, always learning, always learning. So I think for me, number one is that I never stopped training because I never stopped thinking that I know something. I always felt like I need to conquer more. I need to conquer this ginga. I need to make my body move better with the ginga. I need to improve my angles when I move. I think, okay, why am I not moving well? Because, okay, my knee hurts. Why does my knee hurt? Maybe I need to do some physiotherapy. Maybe I need to do more strength into my knee. So I'm always looking for something that can improve my overall approach to my health. I never felt like, okay, I know everything. I have a degree in nutrition. I'm doing capoeira for some years. I do jiu-jitsu, I compete. I'm okay. So what's next? I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm always learning. So when I get up in the morning, I do my kine stretch movements. I know what I need to do that to improve my joint mobility, my joint health, I need to do my stretch to improve my overall health. I need to learn how to cook better because there's always something new to learn, right? So my approach to keep moving is to be in a state of gratitude. So I never take anything for granted, right? I never feel like I don't think I know anything. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I don't know anything. I'm always need to be maintaining. I need to be meditating. I need to do self-evaluation every day. Every day. I finish an interaction with people. I was like, how did I do? I hope it didn't hurt anybody's feeling. Or maybe he didn't just say to me, I'm going to actually call them back, say, look, I didn't mean that. Or so for me, I'm always in a state of like, I want to find a balance. I need to find that balance. I'm searching for that balance. And I think, Foquinha, for the constant search for the balance and living in a state of gratitude, it make me keep moving the way I move, right? Yeah, I have a condition that is there. You know how I am. I don't panic about it. But, I still train. I'm going to compete in November at the World Championship in Las Vegas. I do my routine, my movimentação. I put a timer. I do 4 or 5 rounds of ginga. Every time I do one round, I add one more movement, and then I increase my ginga to 2 minutes of moving. But again, not looking to impress anybody is because it's part of my maintenance and part of my discovering. How can I cannot do macaco anymore, but does it mean I don't have to move my back, stretch my spine anymore? Of course I have to stretch my spine. Of course I have to work my spine flexibility, make my shoulders strong. I always act like Sunday, there'll be a capoeira demonstration, and I need to be there and do a macaco, sobrado, and a salto mortal. So I have these huge goals that I know that I'm not going to be achieving them, but I make myself believe like, in order to achieve these huge goals, you need to train. You need to train from here all the way to Sunday, improve your flexibility, visualize your macaco, visualize your dobrado, visualize your whatever. And then I keep moving. I never felt like I know jiu-jitsu, my God, Foquinha, I'm 62. I have 2 metal hips, right? You know that. But I roll with people who are 25. I spar with people who are 19, heavier, people who are 200 pounds. Why? Because I want to discover something about the rolls. I want to discover something about myself. Or this guy broke my grip. I'll make sure next time he doesn't break my grip. So I'm going to change the angle. I'm going to go for the grip, distract him. So I'm always in a constant mode of learning, Foquinha. I never thought, that's why you see my name everywhere is Itaborai. I'm not a mastery. I need to master a lot internal insecurities before I can say that I master something like capoeira or something like jiu-jitsu. I mean, who am I, right? So I'm a constant learner. So making that a short answer now, I live in a state of gratitude, right? I'm humble, and I'm always preparing for a big event. I don't know when that event is going to come, but I'm always preparing for a big event, always. So I need to prepare myself for the big event. I study nutrition every day. I study kinesthetic every day. I study a lot of stuff every day because I feel like there's an exam coming up. I need to prepare myself for the exam.
I love that.
Anyways, I don't know if I answered your question, but that's how I take it.
You did, yeah. No, I think I really like the gratitude piece. And just it sounds the curiosity you have about your own body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And about everything, So the other day I took a class with Rafael, right? Mm-hmm. He's younger than me, but I took a class with him because he has something to offer. He's very, very good. Mm-hmm. I took a private class with James Birimbau, another amazing person, plays very well, knows a lot. So I'm not going to play this. Oh no, I'm not going to take class with this guy because I'm in Itaborai. No. I'm a learner. I'm always learning. I took your class one day, not to make you feel happy, but I want to take that class. My hip was post-surgery, but I was like, when I can, I'm going to take class with anybody. Sometimes, most of the time, I can't. because my knee doesn't let me do it, or my hip doesn't let me do it, or my shoulder doesn't let me do it. But I'm not like sitting like, oh, okay. No, I want to be active. I want to be discovering new things, you know. Anyways, my turn.
Okay.
Foquinha, uh, with I feel like pre-pandemic, the old model of the big master telling people what to do all the time, or telling people not to do certain things, not to visit, not to take classes and such and such. I think that old model was already getting old before pandemic. And I think with the pandemic and the Zoom, the technology, now you can take classes to whoever you want at your comfort, your house or your school, doesn't matter. So I think that's going to be opening the eyes to a lot of people. So do you think now it's going to be creating a new model, like a global model, of like if the old teachers don't adapt, they will stay behind? Because really, in my time, for me to take a class with Mestre Peixinho, for example, oh my God, it was a big drama. I had to lie to minhas camisas, and people like, oh, tá maluco? You crazy? Peixinho is this, Peixinho is that. You cannot take class with Peixinho. Like, and now I can take class with whoever I want. It's really empowering, which I think is what Capoeira is all about. That the more you learn, the better it is. And Capoeira is about empowering yourself. I cannot put, you know, prohibitions on anybody. No, don't go there. No, no. The more you learn, the better for your own growth, right? So, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the next 5 years?
I mean, interesting question. I mean, I think that already there is this kind of like I'm reminded of one of your Vadiando sayings of like Capoeira sem fronteiras, right? Where there is kind of this disillusion, dissolving of these hard group boundaries. And I think it's, it started with like the Capoeira exchange and Vadiando, and even just in the Bay itself, like the mixing of the groups. And, now a lot of my very close friends are from different groups. And I think that it's already starting to be more of, you named your canal perfectly, the Global Capoeira, right? They're of anyone who considers himself a capoeirista can have a conversation with somebody else. I already kind of, you already feel this palpable expanding out of just the groups. And so, you bring up a really good point about Zoom and what Zoom has allowed people to do, to take classes with people that, in Brazil, in Europe. It's really expanded. And I look forward to the time where it's also like way more accessible, and cheaper. And when you think about bringing someone from Brazil, you're like uprooting them from their life, from their school, and then the cost of the plane ticket. And, it's really difficult to think about flying people in from different places, not to mention getting visas and everything like that. And who knows with immigration now, but just the fact that opens it makes it way easier to have people come, and for your students to experience other teachers is such a beautiful thing. And hopefully, I think there is something to appreciate about groups, about like being in a group and like having that support network. is I've appreciated it. And also I've appreciated the fact that the Bay Area has been a really nice example of teachers supporting teachers, of people supporting each other outside of group lines. And so, I don't know what it's like in other cities, in terms of like how cohesive things are. Hopefully, um, as more and more people uh, see a different mentality, see a different reality,
Sure. Yes.
um, it'll spread. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, so conversation has been amazing. It's past 1 hour. What I want you to do, so I agree with you. I think people have to pay attention, especially the old masters, the mestrões who are feeling they have control of the art. Things are changing. And I think we want to do capoeira because it's fun. I always tell people, find a teacher, find a capoeira teacher who can teach you how to love the art and not themselves. For me, if anybody quits my school and they join another school, I'm happy. So, oh, great, man, because you believe in capoeira. I made you see the benefits of capoeira, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like the way I talk, whatever, that's fine. Find another capoeira school. Don't quit capoeira because of me, you know? And I think with the pandemic and the Zoom, people feel like, you know what? I took a class with this person who I heard about it, and I was never allowed to take a class with him or her. And man, it was amazing. The movements or the way he talked or she talked. Gosh, this is great. So please, guys, especially guys, teach the art. Help guide people to love the art. You are just a messenger. Capoeira is not yours. Capoeira is for everybody. It's proven. Now it's global. I took class with Gugu. I took class with Pionceninho. Everybody, Mestre Primo, I mean, anybody. It's all for everybody. It's proven that we need to change the mindset, right? And of course, this new generation, people like Foquinha, and Borracha, and Quebrado, and Gione is from Italy. He has a great podcast called the Ye Podcast, right? New Mind, interviews great people, Messi Primo, Albatroz, my partner. So we need to listen to all these voices, and get rid of this old way of controlling. It's crazy for me because Capoeira is about liberation in many, many ways. But then this big groups create a system that now Capoeira is supposed to fight against the system, but then you create all the systems. It's very contradicting, right? Teach Capoeira to love, help people to love Capoeira. They don't belong to you. They're not your slaves. Let people fly. Let people go. Let people follow Capoeira no matter where. What's important is they continue to feel the benefits of Capoeira. Maybe not through you, maybe through somebody else. Awesome, great. Keep doing Capoeira. Capoeira is good, right? So, Foquinha, a last message to everybody. What do you think what's your message to somebody that is studying Capoeira right now or is being around and has some doubts? You as a woman, your challenges you went through. What is your message to this population?
I would say, something that you said really stuck with me now. You said you train to keep the connection to the art form. So, outside of whatever relationship you have with your teacher, with your school, there is something that is very personal to you and Capoeira, which is kind of what you're saying before, where, it's about you play for Capoeira, this like larger art form, larger spirit. And there is, for me, it's always, I feel it most when I'm at the pé do berimbau, where I'm like kneeling by the instruments. I'm seeing people playing the instruments, and I see two people playing in the roda. For me, that is like a very, that physical place, it encapsulates much of what the art form is. And so for people who are struggling, play some music, put on some music, and just move, because this is about developing your relationship with your art form. And so what is that? No one can tell you what that is. Your teacher can't tell you what that is, but you have to develop your own relationship, or you won't have one. And so, I only say that now just from listening to, to things that you're saying. So thank you for solidifying that answer for me.
Yeah, because if you try to play to somebody, you're never going to please anybody. Somebody's going to say, well, you're Ginga, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's just like, yeah, you want to be safe. Number one, you want to be safe. But you need to connect with yourself and the art form. And jump that roda right there, starting feeling capoeira. For me, another analogy I use, Foquinha, is like, I'm going to drive right now. I'm going to go to work in San Mateo. I have a mission. What's my mission? Leave Oakland, drive 45 minutes to reach San Carlos, San Mateo. I know there'll be obstacles in the way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stop and cry, oh my God, Chitra, come here, help me, I cannot drive to work. Find your way to accomplish your mission. I'm not going to allow anybody to stop me from reaching San Mateo because I have to teach class. I have something to do. So I'm going to go to this roda and all these great players over there. Foquinha, Borracha, Chipa, Messi Aldo. I'm not going to, oh my God, I'm not going to play now. Why? Oh, Chipa is here, Malandro is here, Foquinha is here. No. I have a mission. I have something to do with me, myself, and capoeira. I'm going there. I'm going to play. If somebody decides to change, like the freeway, somebody comes in front of me, put the brakes on, get a ramp, go to the inside streets, but keep moving. I'm not going to allow anybody to disturb, to affect my journey to reach San Mateo. I'm not going to allow anybody to allow my connection because they want to fight or because they want to. No. If the game goes to a direction that I don't like, shake your hand. Awesome, great game, good playing with you. Go back to the hall, clap your hands, play again. Because I need to play for myself and connect, like you said. Find your voice, find your connection. Foquinha, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I could stay with you here for 3 more hours. So much fun, so enlightening. I hope you guys are enjoying this because she's so special. She's so special. I respect her so much. She's becoming like a global leader, right? She has her group. She has her teacher, Joy, who's an amazing person. But she has this progressive mind to offer capoeira for everybody. And that's what we want. We want to offer capoeira to everybody. If people stay with us in our group or school, awesome. If they leave, no problem. Keep moving with capoeira because capoeira is good. All right. So I want to again thank you, Foquinha, for your time.
Thank
all right.
You,
appreciate it. Much love to you, Foquinha. And we'll do another one in a while, doing a little catch up. Okay. Thanks for your time. Beijo do meu coração pro seu coração. Tchau.
Obrigada, Messi.
1, 2, 3. Global Capoeira. One game, many voices. Foquinha.
One game, many voices.
Isso. Tchau, minha preta. Beijo.